dudes, yeah, let's see, I don't know if we can win with him or not. We'll try. We're gonna play the test server too. I'm
Oh my God, Dad, you farted! That is so nasty!
No, Meg, this is crucial, all right? The sexiest thing a woman can do for a man is learn to love his gas. Love the gas, Meg. Love it!
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna have to check and see if he soiled himself.
Nice job, man.
Okay.
Good shot.
Shut up, Meg.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Where the fuck he's at? There he is. He's hitting him. Still need 12. We're not get it either. Updates earn 30 minutes. Yeah, we won't be getting there. Let's see, what are we needing? A doctor or cruiser, ain't it? Or no? I miss boxes and everything. They ain't a dudes. So we need torpedo hits and what else? Cathedrals will work or torpedo hits. We need to play a cruiser. Cruisers. I'll tell you, dudes, with okay. Now, see what we can get into here. Way too far from us. Okay.
10-4, everything's Charlie 4060.
That was going to hit me. Okay. And probably shouldn't. We don't on that one though. No, my damn turns out. Oh shit.
You're going to get it now.
I ain't gonna get shit. It's really.
Oh God, I gotta get out of here. This is more like it.
Holy shit. Okay. That's them camouflage ones the guys using there. Damn, dude, they just raped us. We need to use a cruiser anyway, man. Hang on there, bros. I'm gonna see something that's dudes I want it. You know, they do have KOS to test server. Okay. I don't think I can do the dockyard yet. 16 hours on the dockyard. Well, I'm going 3 hours. 9 and 14, 3 hours, 3 hours. That'd be 6 a.m. And he's coming and just whatever. They go with this one shit there, but you can't say, ain't dumb right now. You can't cash that in either, but, where is that, so we got a few hours. Yeah, 3 hours, we can do that in 3 hours. Okay. And the rest, I mean, 450, 500, let's go. So, okay. Let's go back to the live server, and that's where we're going to play, because we for what ain't extra, we need it anyway. We desperately need it, so check my weather. It's I don't think it's supposed to get about 27 there. Yeah.
London, 2 weeks after Russian tanks rolled into Ukraine, Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich said he would sell his soccer club Chelsea FC and donate the billions of dollars in proceeds to the victims of the war in Ukraine. At the time, it seemed an elegant solution for a billionaire under growing scrutiny in the West for his ties to Russian leader Vladimir Putin. Yet more than a year and a half later, the $3 billion donation is sitting frozen in a UK bank account amid a long-running dispute with the British government over how the vast sum should be spent. Abramovich, who is now sanctioned in the UK, wants the money spent partly in Ukraine but also for good causes across the world, including Africa, British officials and people close to him say. The UK government, which must grant a license to allow the frozen funds to be transferred to a foundation, said they should be disbursed solely in Ukraine, which is facing growing hardship as the war grinds on. Sanctions experts say donating frozen funds raises a host of potential red flags, including worries that Abramovich would use the money to whitewash his reputation, or fears that the funds could end up in the hands of Kremlin allies or in places that have nothing to do with Ukraine. While the impasse rumbles on, the foundation has drawn up a board of bigwigs from the worlds of politics and finance. It has mapped out grand plans to disburse millions of dollars to projects ranging from education in Africa to grain production in Ukraine. But it doesn't yet legally exist. Nor does it have a name. The man who is being paid to set it up, former UNICEF UK Director Mike Penrose, provisionally calls it the Foundation for the Victims of Conflict. There is no point in having an entity if I haven't got any money to put into it, he said. How $3 billion got stuck in a Barclays bank account is an insight into the complexity of global sanctions and the balancing act Abramovich has played since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. He has tried to position himself as a middleman between Russia and the West who can broker grain deals, prisoner swaps, and ultimately a potential peace deal. Abramovich made a fortune in the oil industry thanks in part to the Kremlin's patronage in the 1990s and has a close relationship with Putin, according to the British government. Western officials say he hopes one day to rehabilitate his reputation in the West when the war ends, while also continuing to prove useful to Putin. So far this has partially worked, with the US holding off sanctioning him. The issue of where the billions from Chelsea go highlights this balancing act, said Tom Keatinge, Director of the Centre for Financial Crime and Security Studies at the Royal United Services Institute, a London think tank. If $3 billion in aid is shipped only to Ukraine, that might not be looked on too kindly by the Kremlin, he said. Meanwhile, the British government is nervous in case it greenlights the release of the funds which then end up in the pocket of an unsavory Kremlin ally in a far-flung country, he said. Penrose, who hopes to one day helm the foundation, disputes this, saying large humanitarian foundations must have flexibility to put money not just into a single conflict zone but also neighboring countries, to help refugees, for instance. He said the foundation would be independent of Abramovich and that a large chunk of the $3 billion would go to Ukraine. British government officials argue they introduced sanctions on Russia in response to the harm it is doing to Ukraine, so the money needs to only go to Ukraine. We want this money to reach Ukraine as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Portland, Oregon, AP, a federal judge has rejected a request from Oregon Republican state senators who boycotted the legislature to be allowed on the ballot after their terms end. U.S. District Court Judge and Aiken issued the decision Wednesday. State Senators Dennis Linthicum, Brian Bockwist, and Cedric Hayden were among the plaintiffs who filed the federal lawsuit to challenge their disqualification from running for re-election under Measure 113. The voter-approved constitutional amendment, which passed by a wide margin last year, bars legislators from seeking re-election after 10 or more unexcused absences. Each of the 3 senators racked up more than 10 absences during a record 6-week walkout that paralyzed the 2023 legislative session. The boycott stemmed from bills on abortion, transgender health care, and guns. The lawmakers sought, among other things, a preliminary injunction to prevent the Secretary of State's office from enforcing their disqualification from the ballot. The office in September disqualified Linthicum and Bockwist from the 2024 ballot, court filings show. Hayden's term ends in January 2027. The senators argued that walkouts are a form of political protest protected by the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution.
Who's that?
The senators were punished solely for exercising their First Amendment rights, their attorneys said in court filings. Aiken disagreed with their claims in her opinion. However, these walkouts were not simply protests, they were an exercise of the senator plaintiff's official power and were meant to deprive the legislature of the power to conduct business, she wrote. Their subsequent disqualification is the effect of Measure 113 working as intended by the voters of Oregon, she added. The Oregon Senate and House of Representatives must have 2/3 of their members present in order to have a quorum and conduct business. In recent years, Republicans have protested against Democratic policies by walking out of the legislature and denying a quorum in a bid to stall bills. The federal suit named Secretary of State LaVon Griffin-Ballard and Democratic Senate President Rob Wagner as defendants. The senators claimed, among other things, that Wagner violated their First Amendment right to freedom of expression and their 14th Amendment right to due process by marking their absences as unexcused. Attorneys from Oregon's Justice Department representing Griffin-Ballard and Wagner argued the First Amendment does not protect legislators' refusal to attend legislative floor sessions. Under Oregon law, a senator's absence has an important legal effect. Without the attendance of the 2/3 of senators needed to achieve a quorum, the Senate cannot legislate, they wrote in court filings. The federal court decision was issued one day before the Oregon Supreme Court heard a separate challenge to the measure. In oral arguments before the state's High Court in Salem Thursday, a lawyer for a different group of Republican state senators argued that confusion over the wording of the constitutional amendment means that legislators whose terms end in January can run in 2024. Griffin-Ballard, the Secretary of State, is also a defendant in that lawsuit. Earlier this year, she said the boycotting senators were disqualified from seeking re-election in 2024. She directed her office's elections division to implement an administrative rule to clarify the stance. She said the rule reflected the intent of voters when they approved the measure last year. All parties in the suit are seeking clarity on the issue before the March 2024 filing deadline for candidates who want to run in next year's election. A holiday party thrown by the mayor of Boston for city council members who come from minority communities sparked debate this week about diversity, inclusion, and some say exclusion. Trouble started when an aide for Mayor Michelle Wu accidentally sent an invite for the party to all 13 city councilors, 7 of whom are white. Fox News reports that outgoing city councilor Frank Baker criticized the invite as exclusionary. "I find it unfortunate that with the temperature the way it is, that we would further division," he said. The aide who made the mistake has since apologized. "I wanted to apologize for my previous email regarding a holiday party for tomorrow," Denise Dos Santos wrote. "I did send that to everyone by accident and I apologize if my email may have offended or came across as so. Sorry for any confusion this may have caused." The brouhaha comes as a backlash against DEI gained momentum after the conservative U.S. Supreme Court ruled against affirmative action in college admissions this summer. Since then, anti-affirmative action advocates have filed lawsuits challenging grants and scholarships meant to increase diversity. Events specifically for minority and other underrepresented groups have been common in schools and workplaces as a way to find spaces for them where they can feel comfortable. The attention that was given specifically to race and particularly anti-black racism in the wake of the murder of George Floyd, I think that wave of support and interest was almost inevitably going to invite a backlash, said Professor Erica Foldy, at New York University said to USA Today. And I think that that's what we're seeing now. City Councilor Tanya Fernandez Anderson defended the party for minority members of the council. She is African American and Muslim. It's about creating spaces for like-minded individuals to connect and support each other, she said in an email quoted by the Boston Herald. There's nothing wrong and lots of things right with giving people of color and other people from marginalized groups a break from surviving in spaces that were not necessarily, and not originally designed for them and may in some ways may feel hostile to them, she said. So I think, actually, a good trend would be to have more of these kinds of events, rather than fewer. Mayor Wu's office said it's planning a party for the entire city council next week. As AM News is published by the nonprofit Asian American Media Incorporated. Please take advantage of a $30,000 matching grant challenge. An anonymous donor has offered to match dollar for dollar every tax-deductible. A 17-year-old boy who claims to be a girl could become the first male athlete to receive a women's scholarship in NCAA Division I sports, according to Redux. The outlet reported Wednesday that California resident Tate Drageset made a verbal commitment to play women's volleyball at the University of Washington in June. If he signs the offer, he will claim one of 12 scholarships available for women on the team. Drageset, who plays for the Active Volleyball Club in Santa Monica, California, already has helped several girls' volleyball teams to championships, according to Redux. He was named the MVP at the Girls' Junior National Championships and won the California Interscholastic Federation's Division IV
Problem is, he's not a girl.
to 23. Tate Drageset. Volleyball, outside. Left arrow, active. Right arrow, University of Washington, pic.twitter.com/vonvvbojir. Class of 2025 volleyball commits, at Class of 2025 VB, June 27, 2023. According to the report, the transgender outside hitter's statistics far outpace those of the girls he faces. When compared to same-height female athletes within his volleyball club, Drageset's standing reach, vertical jump, and other key physical metrics are all more favorable, said the Independent Council on Women's Sports, a nonpartisan organization that works to protect women's sports. Women's scholarships are for women only! The NCAA's devotion to discrimination against female athletes is a disgrace. Join us at the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championships. Spiral Calendar December 14th and 17 Round Pushpin Tampa. FLHTTPS://t.co/JGHMGXCWF8. Icons, at icons_women, December 13, 2020. Republican Congressman Clay Higgins issued a warning to FBI officials investigating the Capitol riots, saying that they are going down. More than 1,100 Americans have been charged for their alleged roles in the January 6 riot, which took place in 2021 when a group of former President Donald Trump's supporters violently protested the 2020 presidential election results. Higgins, a Louisiana Republican, is a vocal proponent of the theory that federal agencies planted people at the scene and provoked the riot as an excuse to arrest conservatives. Speaking to Lara Logan, a former CBS News correspondent turned right-wing commentator, Higgins, a former law enforcement officer himself, advanced his theories, claiming the FBI is tracking Trump supporters who were in Washington over the days leading up to the Capitol riots and treated as suspected terrorists. He said those on a supposed list are still tracked by air marshals to this day, despite not being convicted of crimes. We are in uncharted waters as it relates to the weaponization of our government against American people, he said, adding, I am not frightened of these people. They are not going to take us without a fight. I am going to fight legally and peacefully and within the parameters of the U.S. Constitution. But they're going down. These men in their high perch and their position of power and authority that are walking upon our entire history, our deepest core principles. They're not going to get away with it. Newsweek has contacted representatives for Higgins by email and the FBI to comment on this story. Higgins has spoken out about the riots in the past. During a House Committee on Homeland Security in November, he confronted FBI Director Christopher Wray about the January 6, 2021, riot and told him, "Your day is coming." He also accused the FBI of sending ghost buses to the Capitol that were filled with informants pretending to be supporters of former President Donald Trump. These buses are nefarious in nature and were filled with FBI informants dressed as Trump supporters and deployed onto our Capitol on January 6, he said. Wray denied these claims. Meanwhile, the Louisianian has faced criticisms for his use of language, recently warning Jack Smith, the prosecutor in Donald Trump's federal indictment accusing him of election interference, that his days are numbered. In May, Higgins also faced calls for his arrest after physically removing a Medicare activist from a press conference. Related articles. Armed Republicans were ready for January 6 rioters. Marjorie Taylor Greene Republican cuts off colleague's speech about Capitol riot conspiracy theory. Republican threat against Jack Smith sparks condemnation. Start your unlimited Newsweek trial.
Okay.
Day comes from the freeways of LA, where ceasefire protesters caused huge traffic jams until drivers got frustrated and confronted them. Roll it.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire
There we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. There you go, that's what I'm talking about. I hope we had that on tape. Uh-oh. I would say that's a problem. I think they're handling it quite well.
You know what? Some Christmas music. Cops say 75 protesters were arrested, but you know they were let go faster than a fart in the green room at The View. Jamie, one of the protesters said, "We cannot sit by as people in Gaza are starved and slaughtered." But that's literally what they were doing.
Oh, you're right. Some of them were sitting by.
Yeah.
They were standing by and sitting by. I feel like protesters are doing it all right. I feel like protesters, if they're trying to convince you of something, all they do is inconvenience us.
Yeah.
Shouldn't they be like, hey, like if they got me into a car and took me for a ride in the carpool lane, I'll listen to what you got to say.
Yeah.
But they're making the traffic worse. They're always right. They're always trying to do that. I don't know if I ever told you guys that my ex-wife was actually a big protester. It was mostly during sex. And she wanted a ceasefire.
Terrible.
She got it.
Yeah, she got it. All right, Kat, here's a theory I was thinking of. If a person physically gets in your way, blocking your egress, thesaurus word, in a personal way, it's your right of self-defense to get past them. Why isn't that the case here? Why can't you push them aside, throw them off? I'm not saying run over them, but I'm not saying that. No, I am. No, I'm saying don't do that.
Because pedestrians have the right of way. I learned that when I got my driver's license. Any of those people who are protesting, every single one of them, no matter what side of this issue you're on, if you are in that traffic jam, you're pissed off.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what side of the issue you're on, what you believe when you're not in a traffic jam. A person in traffic is not the person they are any other time.
Right.
Right? And they're just getting people that pissed off. I mean, especially in LA, there's so much traffic already. And people who are in that protest can't see that because, not only because of what they think about the issue and what they're protesting, but also because
I am in command. You are safe with me. I will cradle you in my arms through any crisis in any galaxy.
Are you queer?
Probably.
Lord damn, I don't know what to say there. Damn.
Assistant U.S. Attorney Leslie Wolf, accused of limiting questions about President Biden in the Hunter Biden federal investigation, is set to be deposed at the House Judiciary Committee. Whistleblowers alleged political influence in the probe, claiming Wolf blocked questions about President Biden and influenced decisions based on optics. Wolf allegedly noted there was enough probable cause for the physical search warrant there, but the question was whether the juice was worth the squeeze. Trending, here are the most disturbing ways Hunter Biden spent his millions. Wolf reportedly stated that optics were a driving factor in the decision on whether to execute a search warrant, Shapley noted, pressing that Wolf knew a lot of evidence in our investigation would be found in the guest house of former Vice President Biden, but said there is no way we will get that approved. The investigation is part of the House impeachment inquiry against President Biden, focusing on potential politicization and the Biden family's foreign business dealings. Hunter Biden defied a subpoena and made a public statement denying his father's financial involvement in his business dealings. Additionally, he faces charges related to tax evasion and federal gun charges. Most popular. Hunter Biden's own memoir is coming back to haunt him in criminal trial. LeBron James shares gun advice for Americans. Top Democrat loses in historic landslide. The post-U.S. attorney and president's pal accused of obstructing Hunter probe appeared first on State of the Union. The Virginia mother of the 6-year-old boy accused of shooting his first-grade teacher in class earlier this year was sentenced on Friday to 2 years in prison for child neglect. Deja Taylor pleaded guilty in August to state felony child neglect in connection with the January shooting at Richneck Elementary School in Newport News. A misdemeanor charge of endangering a child by reckless storage of a firearm was dropped. Moore, mother of 6-year-old who shot Virginia teacher, says son has ADHD. This is Taylor's second prison sentence in connection with the shooting. In November, she was sentenced to 21 months in prison after pleading guilty to federal charges of using marijuana while in possession of a firearm and making a false statement about her drug use during the purchase of the firearm, both felonies. Police say the 6-year-old student brought a gun into his classroom and intentionally shot and wounded his teacher, Abby Zwerner, on January 6. Zwerner sustained a gunshot wound through her hand and into her chest. Federal prosecutors said the firearm used in the shooting was purchased by Taylor in July 2022. ATF agents never found a lockbox, a trigger lock, or a key for the gun, prosecutors said. Deja Taylor faced up to 5 years behind bars on the child neglect charge. Prosecutors had recommended a 6-month sentence, which fell within state guidelines. The judge ultimately sentenced Taylor to 5 years, with 3 years suspended. She will also serve 2 years of probation when she is released, which must include substance abuse treatment, parenting classes, and mental health treatment, prosecutors said. The state sentence will be served consecutive to the federal 21-month sentence she is currently serving, the Newport News Commonwealth's Attorney's Office said. Taylor's attorney, James Ellenson, told ABC News the sentence was excessive and harsh. Ellenson said he believed the judge felt Taylor had shown no remorse and didn't take into account mitigating factors the defense had argued in court. I was arguing domestic abuse, substance abuse, and mental health. Those were sort of the key issues that I thought were mitigating factors, Ellenson said. And also there were instances of maybe the system failing her. Ellenson had previously told reporters he believed no jail time would be appropriate for the child neglect charge. Moore, mom of Virginia's 6-year-old who shot teacher, sentenced to 21 months in federal case. Diane Toscano. Amid the recent national reckoning on academia and college education, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs have been intensely scrutinized. Many people have finally realized these programs are leftist propaganda that offers no legitimate value to anything. Riding this wave of common sense,